I don't really understand what is going to happen. I think it's all up in the air. Lots of good memories and lots of good times last time, so hopefully we can keep that rolling this week.
Cameron Smith just detonated a silent war inside the professional golf world, and the shockwaves are tearing through the sport faster than anyone on the inside ever anticipated. For months, the golf community has operated under a fragile truce, a delicate balance between the traditional establishment and the multi-billion-dollar Rebel League that completely reshaped how the game is played, funded, and watched on a global scale. But behind closed doors, the machinery of professional golf is grinding to a halt, and the latest administrative mandates rolling down from leadership have triggered an immediate, furious pushback from some of the sport's heaviest hitters. When a player of Cameron Smith's stature, a former Open champion, a marquee captain, and one of the most beloved figures in modern golf, publicly breaks rank to admit that the entire future of the alternative circuit is completely up in the air, it is not just a casual comment. It is a 5-alarm fire bell for everyone who thought the sport had finally found its footing.
If there's something I need to say regarding the PGA Tour or LIV, it will come from Cameron Smith, not Cameron Percy. I'm a man of my word, and whenever you guys need to know anything, it'll be said by me.
The reality on the ground is far more volatile than the sanitized press releases and corporate statements let on. And the friction caused by these new regulatory updates has pushed top-tier athletes to the absolute breaking point. The core of the explosion traces back to a suffocating wave of new operational rules and structural mandates that have been quietly dropped onto players without adequate warning or transparent negotiation. For a competitor like Smith, who signed on to the Rebel circuit with the promise of unprecedented freedom, team camaraderie, and a revolutionary format that challenged the old guard, these sweeping modifications feel less like administrative adjustments and more like a betrayal of the original vision. Insiders within the player ecosystem report a rising tide of frustration, with group chats and locker room discussions dominated by talk of boycotts, quiet rebellions, and total administrative gridlock. The new decrees touch everything from mandatory participation clauses and schedule lock-ins to restrictive guidelines on external appearances and commercial rights, effectively clipping the wings of athletes who were promised autonomy. When players look at the landscape right now, they do not see a stable ecosystem thriving under innovative leadership. They see an increasingly rigid bureaucracy that mirrors the very stifling environment they spent years trying to escape.
I'm a positive guy, so I've made no effort to go seek anything else.
This friction has created an explosive atmosphere where veterans and marquee captains are openly questioning whether the project they hitched their wagons to is sustainable past the current calendar year. The uncertainty surrounding the upcoming marquee events has only poured gasoline onto an already blazing fire. Whispers of organizational chaos, delayed logistics, and shifting championship venues have turned routine preparation into a guessing game, forcing teams to train and strategize without knowing if the destination will even exist when tournament week arrives. Smith himself didn't mince words when addressing the chaotic state of affairs, openly admitting that players have essentially been told to prepare as though major events are going ahead, while simultaneously acknowledging that everything is completely up in the air behind the scenes. This glaring disconnect between executive promises and operational reality has shattered team morale. When athletes are left in the dark about their schedules, their financial futures, and the long-term viability of their tournament formats, trust evaporates overnight. The sheer exhaustion of navigating endless executive restructuring, shifting alliances, and sudden rule overhauls has left players feeling like pawns in a high-stakes corporate chess match rather than elite competitors driving the sport forward. This administrative turbulence inevitably forces the conversation toward the ultimate taboo in modern golf, a potential mass exodus and a desperate scramble back to the traditional establishment. When directly pressed on whether he would ever consider a return to the PGA Tour if the Rebel setup were to dissolve or become untenable, Smith's response sent a seismic shock through the entire sports media landscape. He didn't offer a flat denial or a blind corporate defense. Instead, he candidly admitted that if it were the only viable option left standing, that is precisely where everyone would naturally migrate to survive at the highest level. That single sentence is a massive admission of vulnerability, stripping away the impenetrable armor of defiance that top players usually wear when discussing the ongoing civil war in golf.
I feel like we make each other better and better people and better golfers as well. So, I'd hate to see it go away, and we'll see what happens. I mean, we got to, like I said before, we got a player meeting this afternoon. I'm sure we'll get some more info, but...
While Smith was quick to clarify that he hasn't personally dialed up tour executives to beg for a spot, noting that his management team likely handles those delicate back-channel conversations, the mere acknowledgement that a return is within the realm of mathematical possibility changes the entire geopolitical map of professional sports. It signals that the financial glue holding the Rebel League together is being severely tested by regulatory overreach and structural fatigue. Despite the mounting chaos, institutional friction, and swirling rumors of player boycotts, Smith remains fiercely defensive of the positive cultural impact the alternative circuit has achieved, particularly regarding the growth of the game in his home country of Australia. He openly confessed that he would genuinely hate to see the venture collapse entirely, highlighting the deep bonds forged within team competition and the electric atmosphere they managed to inject into a traditionally conservative sport. The team championship structure, flawed and chaotic as it may currently appear, created a unique tribalism that resonated deeply with younger demographics, who previously found traditional golf tedious. Yet this fierce loyalty to the concept of the game clashes violently with the reality of the new rules currently being forced down their throats. Players are caught in an agonizing tug-of-war between their genuine desire to innovate and modernize professional golf and their refusal to be micromanaged by executive boards whose decisions appear completely disconnected from the actual realities of competing at an elite level. The broader implications of this administrative overreach extend far beyond a few disgruntled athletes. They threaten to dismantle the delicate equilibrium that has kept professional golf from tearing itself apart completely over the last few years. Fans are growing increasingly fatigued by the endless legal battles, corporate posturing, and sudden rule changes that seem to punish the viewer just as much as the competitor. When rules are altered overnight to suit executive agendas rather than athletic excellence, the integrity of the competition itself comes under immediate scrutiny. The online rumors of widespread boycotts and a complete breakdown in player management relations are not just internet fabrication, they are the natural byproduct of a system strained to its absolute limits by unrealistic expectations and heavy-handed governance. As the pressure mounts and deadlines for upcoming tournaments loom closer, the tolerance threshold for these new mandates is dropping rapidly across the board. Cameron Smith's public frustration serves as a crucial tipping point for the entire sport, tearing away the carefully constructed facade of corporate harmony and exposing the raw, messy reality underneath. Whether leadership will listen to the warnings of their marquee players and roll back these suffocating mandates or double down and risk a catastrophic player rebellion remains the multi-million-dollar question defining the current era of golf. If top-tier champions are already openly mapping out contingency plans and openly admitting that traditional tours remain the ultimate safety net, the countdown to a massive systemic collapse has already begun. The era of unchecked experimentation and rebellious freedom in professional golf is colliding headfirst with cold corporate reality. And as Smith's explosive remarks clearly demonstrate, the fallout is going to be impossible for anyone in the golf world to ignore.